Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're looking at a couple of XL-2's for Chris. Just finished these up yesterday, so let's do a couple quick test runs. Sometimes it takes a little extra tuning just to make sure you've got it right. A cold start always kind of tells you. So these things needed the normal, stuff. Let's see, that one doesn't have the serial number still on it, but this is a 2, so this is a 72 or 73. Yeah, they're early 70s saws. They've had some use. They're both oiling just fine, evidenced by the oil all over my bench. Sprockets, both fuel caps were warped, so I put fresh ones on. These old tanks with the internal threads, it was common for guys to over tighten the cap as the washer, the cork gasket wore. So sometimes you got to file these flat again. It doesn't take much. You can just take a very fine flat file and just go across it a couple times. You'll see the plastic change shades from shiny to dull, and you want it to be nice and even. It only took me about 3 strokes to flatten these back out. Caps are sealing up pretty good. Sprockets, when you've got these things out of the case, man, if your sprocket's even half worn, I'd say it's worth it to replace it. These were both good and shot. Maybe too far away in the garbage can for me to find here. There we go. This one was probably the better of the two, but you can still see those grooves are cut really deep, and to have it apart and not replace that would be a real shame. And then the other thing that I found on the one with a slight more paint wear was this damage to the starter pulley here. It would still crank over okay, but once it's been compromised like that, I can see some stress cracking starting to form out here on the perimeter. So went ahead and put a fresh pulley on there. Both saws had new spark plugs in them. This guy was the one that in the previous video was just chock full of oil, and when I got into it in the tank here, it was exactly what I thought. The duckbill valve had deteriorated, saw must have laid on its side, and the oil just right up and in. So it still smokes a little bit. Both had just a bit of residue of evaporated gas in the bottom of the fuel tank, so when I put the fresh fuel in, it's reconstituting that. Probably a tank or so of running these will clear them out. You shouldn't see a whole lot of smoke when they're tuned right. New air filters, new hoses all the way around, duckbill valves for the venting on the fuel tanks and for the pressure systems in the oiler itself. Other than that, Chris, these bad boys are ready to come back to you.